Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And the third movie up for review tonight is one that I rewatched this afternoon. I have, of course, watched it multiple times over the last couple of decades, uh, many times on cable and many times on streaming since. Uh, it's a it's a it's a movie that you can definitely watch during a sleepy afternoon and not get bored. It is a mix of sci-fi, horror, action, and western, kind of like all jumbled up together. And it's from John Carpenter, by the way. So that's the movie's called Ghost of Mars, or John Carpenter's Ghost of Mars. Came out in 2001, and I know this movie is supposed to be a flop, but I think it's since become a kind of like a cult favorite of people who enjoy these kind of genre films, these kind of genres, basically. It stars, once again, it is written, directed, and scored by John Carpenter. It stars Natasha Henstridge, Ice Cube, Jason Statham before he became famous, Pam Grier, Clea Duvall, and Joanne Cassidy. And it's set in the 22nd century in a colonized Mars setting where basically um, 85% of Mars has been terraformed. This is the year 2176, I'm going to use that. And they're trying to create this Earth-like atmosphere. There are several cities located some distance from each other. We come to the town of Chryse, which is with some smaller outposts connected via these trains. So there's this series of incidents that has happened in one of these places where police officer Melanie Ballard, she is called before the tribunal and asked to give her kind of like a testimony. So she basically tells that there's this remote outpost called it's a mining outpost called Shining Canyon, and she was sent along with her commanding officer Helena Braddock, played by Pam Grier, very arrogant Sergeant Jericho Butler, played by Jason Statham, rookie officers Bashira Kincaid and Michael Descanso, played respectively by Clea Duvall and Liam Waite. So the five of them are sent on this train to go and collect Desolation Williams. Who's a convicted villain, supposed to have killed several people. His name is James Desolation Williams. And basically what happens is once they arrive there, they find the town completely deserted. They do find him, and they find a few people who seem to have sealed themselves into the cell. And among them is a lady who is Dr. Arlene Whitlock, played by Joanna Cassidy. And on being confronted, she basically tells them what happened. So she was leading this team that actually goes to search for archaeological digs around Mars, and they find basically what is it? Oh yeah, they find like this ancient underground vault after they detonated at a particular point, and they see that this was actually created by not by man but by an extinct Martian civilization. So when they died out, they captured themselves like inside this vault, waiting for somebody to come in. They are like spirits or ghosts, and that's why the name Ghost of Mars. And when the vault was opened, this huge storm kind of came rushing from it, and they started possessing some people. So some people cannot be possessed by them, so the possessed one starts killing them. They cut themselves, they use barbed wires, they decorate themselves with the faces and body parts of the slain, and they basically want to chase out and kill all the invaders as they see it, which are the humans. So yeah, that's basically the film. They have to get out of there. Everybody is killed with the exception of Ballard and Desolation Williams. Slowly all of them are killed off, and they make it to the train. Unfortunately, even the crew is killed off trying to get everybody to safety. However, Desolation decides to cuff Ballard to her cot and although she does hold a gun against him, she decides not to kill him. So he leaves her alone. He goes off, and then that's when she reaches Chrysia, and she tells the story. Um, while waiting for a result from, a decision by the council, where she talks about her, or the tribunal rather, which talks about what happened. In the night, the city alarms goes off because they are under attack. They don't actually show it, but presumably it's by the possessed humans, who are possessed by the Martian ghosts, and the city is under attack. So she gets ready to leave, and Williams comes with some weapons, and they decide to try and find their way out, and that's where the movie ends. So we don't really get a closure as such, but yeah, it's assumed that everybody's going to get killed. Perhaps I would have liked to have seen like sequels to this film, yeah, because it did not make much at the box office. That's why it kind of like died out completely. But I do think this movie's got a place in the hearts of sci-fi action horror fans. All right. So a few of the other cast, I think up till Liam Waite and Joanne Cassidy is fine. Then we also have Wanda. How do you pronounce his name? Wanda De Jesus or Wanda De Jesus? She plays Akushe, who's one of the inmates of the jail, but we're not sure if she's actually guilty of doing a crime. That's the thing. The only other person I wanted to mention in this movie. Funny part is, Jason Statham. Sorry, not James Statham. Jason Statham. Before he did have a little bit of more affair, kind of like mine right now, maybe even less. And then of course you know him as mostly being involved. One of the other funny things about this film is this initially was possibly would have been a Snake Plissken, Snake Plissken sequel, but then with Snake Plissken was actually played by Kurt Russell in the two movies, which also created by John Carpenter, but it became into something else. Michelle Yeoh, Franca Potente, and Famke Janssen were the initial choices for Melanie Ballard. They all turned it down. Courtney Love was initially cast, but she kind of left the project, and things were hanging by a thread. Natasha Henstridge was approached, and she agreed. Her boyfriend at the time was Liam Waite, who also plays one of the characters here. Jason Statham was actually going to play Desolation Williams, but he was replaced by Ice Cube because at the time Ice Cube was very popular. Yeah, he's a one-note actor, and Jason instead played Jericho Butler. Most of the movie is also set at night. This was actually shot in a New Mexico gypsum mine, and they dyed the white gypsum with gallons of food coloring to recreate the Martian landscape. That's basically some of the information about the movie, and also the fact that Natasha Henstridge actually fell ill during the film, so they had to shut down the production for she was completely exhausted. She had done a couple of movies back to back, and then kind of like did John Carpenter a favor by coming in, but so she was exhausted. She had to go for rest for some time, and then she came back. That's basically it for this movie. I think I give it a 7.5 out of 10. It's pretty entertaining for me, and I actually enjoyed this movie quite a bit. That's basically about it. And there's this character called Big Daddy Mars. He's played by a stuntman, I believe. Yeah, Richard Cetron plays the big baddie, and he's actually looks awesome in the movie. Looks more like a black metal band member. Alright, that's it for Ghosts of Mars. Have a good night.